This is Gary Butterfield, and there are two things I love. One is my cat who's sitting on my lap, roars. And two are our Patreon backers. If you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, you can join them. If you go to the terrible island of Dr. Moreau, you can join my cat and my menagerie of animal freaks.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat. It is a branded appendix.
Yes, we're keeping our colors in line. We're making sure that we're advancing the messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this week we are reading your branded responses to Lords of the Fallen after our kind of coverage winds down in this followers and influences kind of season we have in the middle here.
Yeah. We were killing time until Bloodborne came out, and so was you. You know what I wish had happened? And not that I regret covering Lords of the Fallen, because obviously we had to. But did you see that the Shovel Knight DLC is imminent?
Yeah.
And it's a whole new quest where you play through as Plague Knight?
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Me too. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I will play the fuck out of that. That will be for me. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Earl says via contact. To be honest, I was skeptical going into this game, as I think most Souls fans were. I was expecting a mediocre knockoff, cashing in on the popularity of the series. What I got was a surprisingly fun game to scratch the Souls itch while waiting for Bloodborne. Unfortunately, the game is broken, at least the PS4 version is. I had to lock up 4 times throughout the game, and then ran into a game-breaking glitch with the Greed Trinket. I got a glitch with the Greed Trinket.
You're a precocious little scamp.
Yeah. A game-breaking glitch with the Greed Trinket about 12 hours in, where I couldn't progress because I couldn't generate mana to get through the gate. I tried some solutions I found online, but none helped. It's really a bummer because I was enjoying the game quite a bit. I enjoyed the variety of gear and upgrades. The way the environments were laid out reminded me of the original Dark Souls, how they would wrap around in on themselves. But I don't think I'll ever play this again because I don't have that kind of time to waste if I end up just running into another bug like that. The good news is that I can enjoy games like this without thinking, I would rather be playing Dark Souls right now, the whole time. I would gladly play more Souls-likes in the future as long as they work.
Yeah. That's a remarkably good attitude about that thing.
Yeah, because I would have been really mad if that would have happened to me. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it didn't. But part of what you're saying, when I would play through this the first time, a lot of the sheen wasn't taken off this for me until I played it the second time for the show. When I played it when it came out, I was having moment to moment. I was when I was curious as to what would happen next or what came next. I was having fun. It's similar when I talk about you can judge we try to criticize things and look at things deeply. But if you only look at things like whether this was fun to go through, it was fun to go through. It's the same way that South Park isn't a death march to watch. I can watch South Park and I will laugh a couple times. Right. Or even something as shitty as Family Guy. I will laugh a couple times at that. It's not a death march. I still think it is a low quality and I don't want to waste my time on it. Yeah. But it doesn't feel, it's not without joy to be had. It's just there are better uses for my time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt about this the first time through.
Yeah. And you wouldn't believe it till, by listening to us, but there were times where Dark Souls kind of faded into the background for me while I played this, and I was engaging it on its own terms for, the majority of it. And it wasn't until something really bad happened that it stood in stark relief to that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And in the people who don't like hearing this game compared to Dark Souls or who are complaining about that, I kind of feel like that's just not realistic. For a game that is so clearly taking that influence on its sleeve. It's in a weird way, yes, doing this as a Souls-like, caused a lot of people to buy this game. In another way, it was a huge disservice because you're inviting those comparisons that you just can't, you can't quite measure up to. Yeah. But then again, I fall a little bit, in your camp, Earl, even though I soured on the game a little bit on my second playthrough. But even listen to that sentence. I put 25 hours in this game.
Yeah,
there's a second playthrough. Yeah. For God's sakes. I where's my fucking parade? But the first time I got through it, and the Facebook records will attest to this. I was pretty positive about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going through this looking for things to like, you will find things to like.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Joe writes in via contact saying, "Sigh, Lords of the Fallen. Always hungry for more Souls, as we all are. I was finally able to talk my wife into buying a PS4, and I knew this would be the game I bought with it. See, I had it all figured out. I just finished up Dark Souls 2 on the PS3, 100% trophy run. Good on you. I thought I'd buy Lords of the Fallen, and that would hold me over until Bloodborne and the Dark Souls 2 re-release. I bought my PS4 and raced home to play Lords of the Fallen, and I loved it. But as I played it, it just didn't feel the same. I couldn't get into the story." He has story in scare quotes there. And half the time I had no idea what was going on. Now, I know in Dark Souls you could say the same thing the first time through, but where in Dark Souls it kind of makes you figure it out in that it's more of a mystery. This seems more in your face with the lore, Lords of the Fallen does. I just found myself not caring. That being said, though, it's still a good game, and I'm excited to see more games come out in the Souls style. Just go into this game not expecting it to be Dark Souls. I played it for a week, and I got a couple of bosses away from the end of the game. At this point, I decided to see what all of the hype was about with the new Binding of Isaac Rebirth. I have not played Lords of the Fallen or anything else on the PS4 since.
I can't fault you for that.
Yeah,
because Binding of Isaac Rebirth is my favorite game from last year. I don't blame you. And I think that story is a common sad one. Luke says via contact, "Though I was initially quite disappointed with Lords, having approached it as a fourth Souls game, I found that it could still bring me some pleasure if I instead approached it as a fleshlight." I didn't mean to do that delivery on that, but it's kind of got to the end of that sentence and wasn't expecting where it would end. Like that device, Lord is not as good as the real thing. It's compacted and yet somehow more cumbersome. There's no personality to it and no distinct areas to discover. It lacks the little details, and those it does have are so loud as to seem false. On paper, used in the exact same way, but doing so never feels natural. Sessions spent with it don't end with the same level of joyous ecstasy as they do with a stoic sense of completion, and you never feel the need to discuss it with friends afterwards. Though with all that being said, there's still something to it. I think at this point he's still talking about fleshlights. It'll never be my first choice of a lasting companion. I'm just kidding. I actually think he's talking about Lord of the Fallen. It'll never be my first choice of lasting companion, but for a while there was a novelty to its newness and the way it almost aped the satisfaction wrought from the friction of each major encounter.
I think he's still talking about a fleshlight.
Oh, that's okay. It's getting a lot into Luke's dick in this response. The way you'd push in again and again, getting a little deeper every time you entered, until eventually you'd be able to slide right through. It might not do such with the same level of guile or grace as the real thing, but even an awkward facsimile of the act does ping those same pleasure centers, though maybe not to the same extent. I don't know if I'll ever pick the thing up again or not, nor am I sure I would ever have in the first place if I'd known how inferior the feeling is, but I have a feeling that that's partly retrospect talking. In the moment I was enjoying myself, and at the end of the day, isn't that what these things are designed for? In a way, it's all been downhill since my first time, nothing's been as pure an experience since, and this was simply another step down the slope towards experienced emptiness. But even just going through the motions here had its moments. Maybe blood will revitalize things. Here's hoping. Postscript. I do not, nor have I ever owned a fleshlight. I swear, guys, believe me. But if I did go buy one, I wouldn't be surprised to see that they cribbed all the boss names from the fleshlights and dildos. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the Annihilator. I never thought about the bosses in Lords of the Fallen being like dildo names.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
I would like to see the packaging for the champion.
Yeah, champion, the commander, the beast. They do sound like dildo names.
The beast.
The beast.
It's shaped like Hank McCoy.
Yeah. It's just like a furry beanbag with a humpable orifice. I don't talking about fleshlights. I don't there is like a stigma to that, but I don't see why.
No, I mean,
I've never used one, but mostly because they're like $150.
Right.
And also like I can masturbate just fine. Like I've never been like, I need to spice this up. This is boring and stupid, and I need to find a way to like make this better. Like it's pretty great on its own. But like there is that weird, for some reason men can't have sex toys, but
right.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a double standard and a little bit negativity. I know I sound like an MRA saying, "Oh, a double standard applies to men," but like, it just like it has a little bit of sex negativity and kind of like shaming somebody. Whereas the proper attitude, at least the one that I've adopted, is whatever starts your cart, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like it is, good on you. If anyone out there is like fleshlighting it up, like if it feels good, do it.
Yeah.
Like, or like, people will be like, I used to listen to Savage Love. Every weekend people would just be like, yeah, I started masturbating by like jamming my dick between two, bed, two mattresses. I haven't been able to come any other way since then. And like, there are people who, in the comments and stuff, who would like kind of make fun of that. And when I was younger, I would. At this point, like, honestly, like you're just rubbing your dick against something. Like, what does it matter what it is? Like,
yeah.
At that point, like it's gross if you do it to like fresh bread or like,
but it's so warm.
Yeah. But it like, well, however you want to masturbate, it's cool with me.
Yeah.
That's the duck feed promise. Like if you're out there, whatever way you use to get off, as long as it's not hurting somebody else.
Yeah.
Please continue. Go well.
Yeah, I'm naturally such a judgmental person that like I want to save that and just have a live and let live attitude, except for where it really matters.
Yeah.
It's just whatever floats your coat. Whatever floats your coat.
Was it like the tight, like your lifeboat or your life vest?
Yep, your life jacket.
Yeah. I only masturbate to Titanic porn. Whatever floats your coat. Yeah.
Oh man, I love it when we goof about me misspeaking.
Yeah. Usually it's me. So yeah, it's usually often me.
Yeah, words sound like other words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a really good message. I am equally happy that you read it as I did, because I got to hear you read it.
Yeah.
But that was well composed, and I like the analogy a lot. So good on you, Luke. A lot of new names actually this episode, which is great.
Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, that doesn't always happen with interstitial episodes and seasons. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have an old name here, a familiar name. Levi writes them via contact saying, "My biggest gripe about this game is how forgettable the weapons are. Except one, Clawfinger. I obtained this weapon from the graveyard boss, and it was the crutch that I leaned on the entire game. Its damage is solid, but its special attack is insane. Giant spectral spikes erupt from the ground when you perform a downward slash. Shield-bearing enemies were a non-issue. Even if you miss with the swing, the spikes will still find their mark. Unfortunately, the weapon is useless against the final boss, so I had to swap it out."
I remember grabbing that weapon, but I didn't have a faith build.
Right.
Like it has a faith requirement, so that's why I never used it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, and there's several other weapons. There's like a thing that creates a pool of blood that heals you.
Nice.
And stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird, like hidden. What is about the game that doesn't? Like I'm trying to think, because that stuff exists. Mm-hmm. In this game, like there are, and we talked a little bit about like how if you attach different runes to your different types of gauntlet attacks, like you just don't need to. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do a lot of experimentation with that. And then the fact that there's just one respec in the entire game and it's hard to get to, meant that like I found a lot of cool weapons like that. I just ended up using the one with the best damage that had 3 slots.
Right.
Through the whole thing. But like, so I ended up missing a lot of stuff, and that could be my fault, but it feels like there's something in the game that made that true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that I would attribute my lack of experimentation to something that I like about the design. Actually, it cuts 2 ways, right? So the actual damage stat is adjusted for your scaling. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have the stat necessary to use it effectively, it'll show a super low attack, which means you can sort it to the bottom and then never see it.
Yeah.
However, there's nothing that belies, even just like the base stat or what the potential for this would be. And it could just be one stat difference between you being able to use this and not being able to use it. So it'd be nice if it showed like, here's the native, damage or the native kind of effect around this, or explained it in a plain-faced way. And then here is what it is with your ability. That would have gotten me to, be a little bit more adventurous, as opposed to just saying, well, my axe is pretty good. Or fate is pretty
exactly.
good. Yeah.
Like I just couldn't experiment with a lot of the stuff, because I didn't have the stats for it. So, bleh. Yeah. So Chase says, via contact, "I think I like Lords of the Fallen. I certainly don't dislike it at any rate. It's Soulsy enough, looks different enough, like if the visual styles of Fable and Souls games were pushed together, and fun enough to tide me over until something else comes along. Or I get a PS4 and Bloodborne. I haven't beaten the game yet. As of this writing, I'm working on the Judge, the one without the armor, which is shaping out to be a pretty good fight. So it's ending pretty strong too. All that said, this is my least favorite game in the style. Between lackluster lore and bosses that at times felt totally unfair, the Worshipper and the Lost Brothers mostly, the game overall feels like it could have done with a little bit more time cooking. I've heard that there's already a sequel in the works, and I'm glad. The game overall shows potential, and I'd love to see what they can do with more time to spend on the story and environments. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get a snow-covered temple.
Oh boy, I hope so.
I hope so.
Be still
it's
my
like
heart.
I hope the new Spider-Man movie explains how he became Spider-Man.
Do I dare to dream?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know that I have any more to add to that. Yep. Kylo writes in via contact saying, I played Lords of the Fallen for only a couple of hours at a friend's house, and I made it through the first 3 bosses without any trouble. In fact, it was pretty boring. Nothing really felt that worthy of exploration, and the bosses were just 3 repetitive fights with dudes in Darksiders armor with huge health bars. I didn't like my experience, but I want the game to succeed financially, because that means more devs will try making Souls games, and the more of that, the better.
And I think it has.
Yep.
Like, I think this game has done pretty well financially. Whether that will carry forward to a sequel, given that this game kind of has a dark reputation, who knows? But that doesn't really matter for other like bean counters looking at these sales figures in considering pursuing a game. So somebody else will come along, I think, and make a similar style.
The fact that Dark Souls can be a part of a pitch, means that there's going to be
and people well, I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry. But also that like they can say, it's like Dark Souls. Also, this game that's just like Dark Souls did really well, financially. Yeah, sorry,
gives them room to explore.
Yes, yep, exactly. And finally, Josh says via contact, "Hey guys, I bought a PS4 for Christmas because I want Bloodborne. I decided while I was using your Amazon affiliate link to pick up Lords of the Fallen because I like playing along with your many and varied shows. In addition to a solid B- of a game, I also got the 3 funniest episodes of Bonfireside Chat ever. There's nothing I enjoy more than fakey sounding fantasy names. So thanks. Oh, and I liked Lords of the Fallen. That's my contribution to the discourse." I also like, I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry,
It's
dude.
fine. Don't worry.
I don't even know why I cut you off there because I wasn't going to say anything like, I was just going to say that jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
That's one of my favorite memes, man.
I'm way into it. I was just going to say that you liking us making fantasy names is probably matched only by how much I like making up fantasy names.
Exactly. It is a good match. Yeah. I don't normally include responses that speak highly of us. I just wanted to put that in and say, hey, that Amazon link is still an option for you as we're in the run up to Bloodborne.
Yeah, and I appreciate that when I first read that, I thought it could have turned another way where like, I decided to use the Amazon link to buy Lord of the Fallen, and fuck you guys, this game's awful. I can't believe you guys made me buy it. Yep. And I was going to have to, but no, there was thank you. Those kind words.
Yeah. So that is all the response around Lords of the Fallen. Thank you, everybody, for writing in around that. You can also write in about the Scholar of the First Sin. That is at duckfeed.tv/contact. But before we go, I just wanted to throw in a little just fun in.
Are you okay?
What?
No, just because we're just fun, and I just like this isn't just gonna. Do we need to hold an intervention?
I mean, I think it's assumed now that we're always thinking about her mortality. I like that we do that just once, and that becomes the entire point of the segment.
Just fun.
Yep. I mean, we did go on for a long time, but
yeah.
Oh. So let's do this here. Eddie wrote in via the contact form saying, "Hi guys, listening to the Inspired by shows as we wait for Bloodborne, I am somewhat surprised that you didn't pick Zombie U to cover. It is tremendously influenced by the Souls games. The death mechanic is particularly noteworthy. When you die, your corpse becomes a zombie with your name. You have to then find your corpse and kill it in order to get all of your gear back. The corpses of other players will also sometimes spawn in your world, and killing them will get you their loot as well. Players can leave cryptic messages in the world a la Dark Souls, and of course, the game is flat out difficult. I would love to see a more fleshed out sequel, but unfortunately, third-party support on the Wii U has dried up. If you haven't played the game yet, I encourage you to put your hands on a Wii U and this game. I would love to hear a Bonfireside Chat show about it. Praise the sun."
Praise the sun.
Yeah, I think I would love to do that one. A, survival horror, pretty cool. B, those Dark Souls elements are, kind of a thing that make that game noteworthy. We just don't have Wii U's.
Yeah.
And
I want one.
Me too.
Like I really want to play the first party stuff that's on that. Like every time I go into the department store, it's like Toad's Treasure Tracker. I'm sure that's fun.
It's coming with it comes with Super Mario 3D World now. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I want to play that so bad. Like I was playing Super Mario 3D Land on my Game Boy. I replayed that for a little bit, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is immensely fun and good, and like you can almost always buy a first-party Nintendo game and rely on it to be great. So I really want one. I just haven't afforded one yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to getting one, I think.
Yeah. Me and Elizabeth have talked about, now that we live together, saving up for one as like an appliance type purchase.
Yeah.
Bringing the number of Wii consoles in this household to 3.
Yeah.
But I would really like to play Zombie U.
Yeah, that does feel like an appliance, doesn't it? It's like your Smash Brothers machine or your Mario Kart machine.
Yeah. It'll be my Zombie U, Toad Treasure Tracker, and Cat Mario machine.
Kitty cat.
Yep, Kitty Cat Mario. Yeah. The speaking of first party Nintendo, I picked up New Super Mario Brothers 2. Did you ever play that one?
No, I played the first one and I liked it well enough, but that was a long time ago.
The second one's real fun. It is like the caveat or the gimmick behind it is that it keeps a running total of the coins you collect. And you want to get 1 million. And everything is about coins in a really satisfying, fun way. Like like that Pavlovian, like, coin. Like it is just that throughout the entire game. Like you have power-ups, you get like a Midas flower that your fireballs turn things into coins. Like you can get the coin block that, those blocks you can just hit over and over for a coin.
Yeah.
You can get one stuck on your head, so everything you do creates a coin.
Right.
It's just coin in a way that isn't obnoxious. Like it just feels good and is fun.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Nice. Yeah, I'm down for that.
So thanks everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
That was the most the most positive, just fun yet. So thanks everybody. If you have comments about the Scholar of the First Sin patch, again, we already said this, Duckfeed.tv/contact. You already know most of the other, and we even slipped in an Amazon referral link plug, so you know everything to do. Yep.
Just keep on listening. We're super happy to have you, and we're looking forward to another season here.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And here are some brief deleted scenes. 2 things that are extra-sode material.
Okay.
One, did you? I don't know about. I know that on the Twitter sphere, you're not as like. You're more fatigued and not as plugged into Gamergate shit as I am.
Right. I mostly catch the scraps and the highlights.
Two amusing highlights.
Okay.
One, the villains who are making the Sarkeesian effect.
I saw this.
You saw that? Okay.
Yeah, they're falling out. Arini's response is great. Oh my god.
It's so good. Like everything that's happening with it is really good. And it's like, if you watch, like he just posted the Skype logs of like the time that they broke up. And other dude, like Wolfman guy, he's kind of like, it's so weird to see somebody who is so clearly a scumbag have like a moral line he won't cross. Like it's like it made me think like that there's like, I knew it wasn't black and white, but there are so many shades of dark gray, like between gray and black. Like it's just like he's just like, he's said some really terrible shit. He's an awful person, but he's just like, yeah, this Roosh guy said rape should be legal. I can't go along with that. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's the line for you. Like, it's amazing to me. Like once somebody gets a certain distance, you think there's not going to have a line. But there's a line.
Yeah. Well, I was, so the announcement, like when, I'm sorry, I don't know the guy's actual name.
Aruni?
Aruni, is it really? So Davis Arini is cancer victim Kane. And the
other guy's name is Owen.
Owen, yeah. Like Owen's announcement about this, like actually like came across as really, this is going to be an unfortunate word choice, ethical around this incredibly unethical thing, which is being very clear about the nature of what's happening, offering like further explanation and saying, if you want your money back, you can have it, like all of that.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed handled really well. Like I was kind of internally applauding him for doing that.
Me too. It's been very tempting to like think well of that guy and forget everything that he's done that's awful.
Exactly.
What came out during this thing was that they were drawing a salary of $1,500 a month to make this movie, in addition to like the cost of making the movie.
Right.
That's crazy. That's a lot of money for you guys to like, in addition, like it wasn't just paying for itself. Like they were like, they drew themselves a salary for this thing.
Right.
Don't care for that.
I mean, paying themselves for the time is one thing, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like, it's like they were making a lot of money.
Yeah.
With this thing. Like, it should have been done several times over based on the quality that we've seen that it would be.
Right.
And it made me think that they were milking, like, it would be done faster if they weren't doing that. And I also have a hard time, based on the quality that we've seen, thinking that they were working,
Oh yeah,
significantly, like, full time towards it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, who knows that? But like, it's just like that's not often what you see
Mm-hmm.
in this kind of project base. I mean, that's part of like the Patreon being a bad fit for a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like that would have made more sense with a Kickstarter. But the I don't know. But the whole thing has been really, Schadenfreude, horrific.
Yeah.
Like it has been fun to see that shit go down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just that response saying, he must have felt inadequate and jealous of somebody who was better at relating to women or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
who's like the biggest scumbag that is alive right now. Like he felt jealous of the worst person. Like I don't know how if you've done any deep dives on that guy.
I'm too exhausted for that.
Okay. Next time you're in the mood where you can like have some anger porn, just like look at that guy's site. That he's beyond the pale. Like he is beyond.
Like what's his notable contribution to this? Like I don't.
He's just that's the confusing thing. He's buddies with Arini, and in the chat logs, Arini's saying that like he supported them, and the Owen guy is like, "Did he give us money?" He's like, "No, he just mentioned us. But you shouldn't have thrown him under the bus." And he was just, "Yeah, I don't want to be associated with him." And he's kind of going back and forth, but like his connection is just that he's real buddies with him, and the Arini guy is claiming that's why, because he's jealous of him. That's why Owen's backing out.
How juvenile! Wow.
So it's just incredible. Like it's just been really amazing to watch. So that happened, and then did you hear about this Tim Schafer thing?
No, I have not.
So at GDC, which I'm going to try to go to next year, I think. Tim Schafer hosted this Game Awards thing, and he did this whole bit where like he couldn't make jokes about Gamergate, but he brought a sock puppet on the stage to make jokes about Gamergate.
Okay.
Which is funny. And then he made a joke where he was talking about like how many Gamergate, like this is literally the joke. And the reason why I'm repeating this joke is not because it's good, but because to contrast with what people are taking from it. He said, how many Gamergators does it take to screw in a light bulb or to design like asset armor for like a character in a game? Like one to do the mesh and one to do the skin or whatever, and then and 48 to cry not your shield. And Gamergate has said that this is him dismissing people, all women, people of color, minorities, and are calling him like a racist, sexist monster, like, and drawing all these comparisons to him making this joke with a sock puppet. It's really, really amazing. Like it is underlining, like if you ever wanted an example of how these people are disingenuous in their arguments, like it's this. Yeah. And he blew up last night. Like it's just like 1,000, like he was trending on Twitter, and then like just tons of people calling him out about this joke he made where they're just saying like, I'm going to burn my copy of Psychonauts. I refuse to play a game from a sexist, racist monster.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Tim Schafer, who is a gigantic teddy bear who has his heart in the right place. I don't think he makes very good games, but he's definitely a good guy.
Yeah.
Like he is not any of those things. And then it got conflated and people were saying he said the N-word in the thing.
Oh boy. Oh,
it got telephoned in this really dumb way.
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Yeah. It's just incredible.
Wow. That is crazy. So I didn't even realize that like Not Your Shield is still, is that still a thing that they do?
It is still a thing that they do.
Ugh.
That's a whole other ball of wax. And smarter people than me have talked about that. But not your shield. They're our shield.
Yep.
Is what they really mean. Like, yeah, there are black friends that mean we're not racist. But yeah, so it's just funny to watch that happen. But then at first when I heard about the fallout of it before I saw the actual thing, and I was like, I try to go into these things with an open mind. I was like, I want to see what he actually did. And then they posted a clip of the joke, and it's literally what I just told you.
Right.
Told by a sock puppet. And what they think is that it's implying that all the people in Not Your Shield are sock puppet accounts. But he did the whole thing. Like he had a sock puppet with him the whole time.
Right.
Like it was just a gag. And it was a dumb pun about them crafting armor, and then the game they're saying it's not your shield.
Super goofy and innocent.
Yeah, in the exact way that everything Tim Schafer does is. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a stretch, you know.
Yeah, it's a crazy stretch. Yeah. It's been a real dumb 24 hours for GamerGators, like unusually dumb.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I mean, so that has to rub extra salt in the wound because, like, you know, whenever GamerGators talk about like the GamerGator, sorry,
I do declare,
I do declare,
Zatarans.
Let me put these crawdads in these buckets here before I step on over to talk about them whores.
I'm gonna do a gator boil. The main course is meat.
I do declare them ethics ain't right. Yeah.
All this stew needs is a little bit of ethics and a little bit of disclosure. And it's going to be a good game journalism stew.
Well, them GamerGators, they have a complicated relationship with the IGDA, the organization that runs GDC. Or at least is very much involved in it. Like whenever you see like the big, you know, spiraling lists of like accomplishments, they say, "Oh, we've uncovered, you know, malfeasance and, you know, unethical behavior within the IGDA." So like to them, perceiving this as like this shadowy cabal. Like the Council of Elders in any fucking Mass Effect game where they're up on two, you know, it's the Oracle who he goes and talks to in Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah,
like just perceiving this like they're in their den of power, cackling at our, you know, there are a bunch of Sith Lords that are cackling at us in our movement with their positions of privilege in the industry, which I should have those because that's where all that comes from.
Yeah, that's
they want exactly. They want to be in the industry, and they think that there is some force out of it. Yeah.
Yep. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's really stupid.
Yeah, it's just been stupid.
Yeah,
like it's
like I caught like just like some trace elements of the arena thing just from like the Something Awful threads that I read, not specifically about Gamergate, but about like the Schadenfreude or whatever. Yeah. But I was taken aback at how passive aggressive and, you know, continuing it was still in his pseudo intellectual kind of like candor.
Yeah.
You know, so saying it's, you know, so why would someone break? I would like to believe that it's and it's like I hear he has a small ding dong and doesn't know how to talk to ladies.
Like I've heard certain things about his little butt and the way that it doesn't get the ladies in a rut. It's funny too because after I posted that, Brian Wade popped out on Twitter and was like throwing me a bunch of images from that guy's blog and his little you know, bio things and stuff. And if you've never seen those things, those are really great too. No. They're all like quotes from his novels for the most part, but just like nothing like a cold glass of whiskey to get you over the burden of the world and stuff like that. And I just
a cold glass of whiskey that you don't drink over the course of a 15-minute video.
Yeah,
that you hold as some kind of totem of masculinity.
A cold glass of cigarette that I don't. I would like to. Part of me really wants to like. I would never give this guy money, but like I kind of want to see the text of these books a little bit. Like it just sounds pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they have to be like pseudo Ayn Rand, like I'm going to write a self-insertion, but also make the entire world cater to my particular, you know, worldview instead of just like it has to be just like his version of a malocentric, you know, I like Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm sure that text is available. I'm
probably not actually going to. Here's let me read the bio. So here, trained as a historian at McMaster University and as an infantry soldier in the Canadian Forces. I'm an author, strategist, neo-reactionist, monarchist, and an entrepreneur. And then down at the bottom of the blog, it says, there's nothing like a good rye whiskey. And rye whiskey is caps and hyphenated. A good rye whiskey to dull the pain of staring at the ugliness of this world. Sometimes it's more than a man can bear, but something's got to dig down to the rotten, hateful core. I'm a writer, goddammit, and that's my job. Yeah, go to hell forever.
He sounds like in the movie of himself he would cast like an early 90s Mickey Rourke. Like,
yeah.
it's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, rye whiskeys, when he's from Canada, what that means is blended shitty whiskey, like Seagram's 7. Like that's what rye is up there. It's not like bullet rye, where they actually use rye grain. So just throwing that in there, his attempt to sound high class is actually saying, I drink shitty rock gut.
Yeah. 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 The comments on the original blog entry is great because people are really pretty mad at him. Like, as well they should be. But like all the people who are already shitheads who supported these guys are like, I can't believe these guys, these two unstable personalities that no one could stand being in the same room with for 2 seconds couldn't work together, and are just gonna, maybe just take our money. Mm-hmm. Which in one way kind of sucks. The other way, like, oh, fuck them.
It's not behavior you would want to endorse, but it is an instance where you feel okay saying a fool and his money, because from our perspective, and by a lot of objective perspectives, probably they are fools.
Did you know that you can hire this guy to give you insight? He'll give you advice.
Is it like a life coach?
Yeah, he'll make a custom video for you for $45.
Wow.
No, lifestyle and career, $25.
What's the 45? Like spiritual advice?
God, I don't know. So it's like, let me see. If you a historical, philosophical, or political question. Oh boy.
And by looking at the quality of his output, all the work that is involved in that is pressing record on QuickTime or whatever, talking into his webcam and then trimming it.
Yeah. So, yep. And for a complicated topic for 2 videos, $75.
Well, you get a bulk discount.
Yeah, who the fuck is doing this? Like, who's seeing this guy and being like, I need to get a custom YouTube video from this?
Cut me off a slice of that.
Yeah. Ugh. I had to stop looking at this.
Yeah.
This guy's blog, man. I tell you what. That boy ain't right.
I tell you what, them crawdads getting out. Sure it must have been a woman kicking over my buckets.
Yeah, he's an uppity crawdad. He's put back into the bayou.
This here fan boat's for men only.
Man boat.
It's man boat. Neo-reactionary.
Yeah, gross.
Does Scrubus or whatever his name is, does he have a magic card?
I'm sure he does.
Okay.
I haven't looked at all those yet. It's funny that the amount of it's not joy, but intense feelings of gobsmackedness I can get from looking at this stuff is inversely proportional to how long I can stand looking at it.
Right.
Like, I literally just had to close my window in disgust from looking at that thing. But it is so amazing. And I just had to go through long periods of time forgetting that it happened. Mm-hmm. It's like a blocked memory. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, there's this whole set of magic cards about neo-reactionaries. And I'll look at them for a little bit and then get really mad and amazed and then have to stop and go back to my real life.
A man is not to will what is happening in the wilds or to stand on it. Like,
ugh.
It's all of them are about the wilderness and the power, the natural forces around. It's so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. So someday we'll have our own neo-reactionary magic cards.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. If anyone's listening to this and wants to make non-neo-reactionary magic cards of us to stop us from doing that.
To stop us from making them ourselves.
Yeah. I'd appreciate it. Yeah.
I just we're so averse to representations of us that we would never do that.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. So I will admit I don't follow that stuff on my own just because of sanity reasons. I do, however, catch secondhand bonkers off of you. So
yeah, it is a dumb thing that is not healthy for me to follow. It is a dumb it's interesting, but then I waste time on it. From
a high altitude when you're not down in the individual scrum looking at MS Painted, charts and whatever, on a daily basis. I think checking it once a day or multiple times a day might be too much, but a weekly soft focus, digest version of just what is
somebody just storify what's going on with this shit.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while something important will happen with it or something legitimately funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon